So I want to change the shape a little bit. We're seeing so many bobs right now, and I think it's just this natural progression of where we're going from shags. So I think it's a great way to make things fresh. It's still to have a lot of texture and softness inside of your cut, but also bringing up the bottom so that we have a little bit more structure on the bottom line. So what I want to do is I want to change this French bob into a slight asymmetric shape, because I feel like asymmetry looks great on a lot of people, and I feel like it is, hi Master, hello. I feel like it is just, it's a fun thing to be able to do. So this is naturally kind of, okay, the audio is off. Can you guys hear me or not? Somebody else comment, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me out there? Okay, it says the audio is off. Yes, okay. So it might just be your individual audio. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take this, I want to soften out this side on her left-hand side, because it looks like there's more fullness over here. So I'm going to work with the natural asymmetry that her hair is already presenting, and then just kind of change it up. I don't want to shorten it too much. I still want to keep the length, but I want it to be a little bit more in the weight positioning. So let's try this. Okay, this was all cut. It was cut as a graduated bob. So, you know, just a nice little tight graduation underneath, and then working into a little bit of an increase in length in front of the ear. So what I want to do is I want to actually keep the length that's at the ear and shift the weight slightly into horizontal, maybe a little bit of a diagonal back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the back all the same, but I'm going to come in with diagonal back sections and work my shape a little bit softer in through that front area. So let's get started. Okay, so right here I'm going to go off of the fringe line that I currently have, and I'm going to work that section back to my existing length in the back. So I want it to be that same angle right here. Okay, your partings will always be dictated by your end result and by what you're wanting to achieve. So I'm going in with that diagonal parting and creating almost my visual guide for it. Now, if I keep my elevation very low, it's going to have more weight. If I lift my elevation higher, it will soften the weight and protect the length on bottom. So I actually want this to be a little softer. So I'm going to go in and lift my elevation up just slightly. So actually not slightly, I'm lifting it up. Okay, so coming in, and I'm working on dry hair because I really want to see the effect as it develops. You could do this on wet hair as well, but wet hair will present and read differently than dry hair. So I'm going to use a very loose point cutting technique, and you can see that increase in length right here. And I have a white comb, yes, you can see that a little bit better. So right now my line is slightly diagonal forward, and I want to change it to horizontal or even slightly diagonal back, with a little bit higher elevation. My guide is coming from the fringe right here. I'm going to lift up, and it's not a lot of hair. So I'm just going to come in, point cut, and soften out my shape. So I'm going for a little less weight and a little less length. My next section, same diagonal back. Once again, just keeping in line with the line that I want to create. Makes it so much easier. Elevation, lifting up high. You can see that there's a little bit to remove in the front, but not a lot in the back. Very loose point cutting. It's small things like this that will make a big difference when you're working with clientele, because you can start to shifting and adjusting shape without making major changes. Small things when you're detailing can be huge in the end result. Okay, here we go again. Lifting up high. I can see my guide right here. Once again, for those of you that just joined me, what I'm doing is I am creating a little bit of a roundness and asymmetry in my French bob. So what I want to see is I want to see a little less of that corner in the front, and let's see how it's developing. Okay, so right around the front on this side, we're still going to have that disconnect that runs from the fringe down to the corner in the front. And what I'm going to have here is I'm going to have a little bit more of a blend with my shape. So it isn't going to be quite as disconnected. And the shape will be rounder and a little bit more moving back off of the face. Okay, here we go again. Next section. And you'll notice that I'm not removing anything behind that ear. It really isn't necessary because all of that is balanced in the back, and I'm just changing the front corner. I think you guys can see where I'm going with this one. Here we are. There isn't hardly anything to remove. One more. As I said, details make a huge difference. And when you're working with a head of hair and you're wanting to tailor it to somebody, it's really important that you're looking at face shape, you're looking at the fabric of the hair, the texture of the hair, and just what it's going to do for you and for them. Okay, so here we are. Let's take a look at her. Okay, I think that's looking pretty cool. I actually like that shape. Should I do it on this side too? Yeah, I think I'll keep it. Yeah, so I'm going to, I feel like it could have a little bit more weight removal. So with that, I will just elevate slightly up here and remove a little. Yes, less is more, isn't it? If you go in, you take a jacket in to be tailored, or a pair of pants or anything like that, and all they do is they take a couple of little nips and tucks in different areas, and the whole thing fits different. It's literally made just for you now. And you can take something that's very, what do I want to say, not necessarily standard, but could be considered standard, a little cookie cutter, and change it to where it's detailed and is personalized for the client. Okay, so now I think I want maybe just a little softness on the bottom edge. So see how I'm kind of going in progression? I'm not doing everything all at once. I think I want to do a little V section, and I use V sections a lot when I want to remove weight but leave length. So coming in, do a little V. So what's going to happen is the hair that I remove will be underneath, and then the V hair will drop back on top. So let's part that guy off. And I'm using my texturizers, either the 42 tooth texturizers. So these remove about, I would say, 60 to 70% of the hair. So I'm just coming straight down or up and making that a soft little area. I don't really want to destroy the length there. I really want to keep that softness. I just had somebody commented that whenever you're dry cutting, clients act like you don't know what you're doing. I would just always say I'm detailing, I'm personalizing for you. I can see it, I can read the hair better when it's dry. And just that phrase, I can read the hair better, it's like I'm looking at it, I'm trying to decide what I want to do, and I'm letting it tell me what it needs. And I like that a lot better now that it doesn't have quite so much fullness down on the bottom. So let's see here. Okay, I'm loving this, but I feel like this has a little bit too much weight. So let's go in, and I'm just going to elevate and softly point cut this edge. Not a lot. I'm not taking off as much as on the other side, but you'll notice I'm not stuck with just one approach. I'm reading the hair, I'm looking at it and deciding, okay, yes, I want a little bit more to come off. As a client, I wish I could get a dry cut. A lot of people want them. You can see how the hair is going to lay so much easier. I would say I do about 60% wet, 20% dry, and 20% damp. No, so 60% wet and 40% dry. I couldn't add right there. Okay, I'm taking off that little bit of an edge of a corner all the way around so that it makes sense. It's not just in any one area. Someone's saying they always get dry cuts. Yes. I know stylists that prefer to only dry cut, and they do beautiful work. For me, I like a little bit more structure sometimes, so I like to be able to create my shape and then soften my shape. Yeah, dry cutting is really good for curly hair. I would agree with that. Okay, so just see. Where am I, and am I taking appointments? So I am located in Spokane, Washington, which is about 4 hours east of Seattle, originally from Seattle. And I am opening up my small studio to create content at the beginning of September. So if you look on my Instagram, there will be the procedure for booking clients there. Okay. I feel like we could get rid of a little bit more. I had no idea what I was doing when I came on here, other than I wanted to create some asymmetry. So this is the process that I usually go through with in the salon. I just look at it, decide, do I like it? Do I want a little bit more? Is it flattering? Does the weight positioning make sense? Does the length make sense? All of those things. I'm on my way. I'll see you soon, Sarah. Sarah Lee. Okay, I want to put on a little bit of this Moist Repair. This is great for the skin and the hair. So I always put it on and I put it on my hands. How long have you been doing hair? Oh my goodness, do you really want to know? Do you guys want to know how long I've been doing hair? A lifetime. I've been doing hair for over 30 years. We'll just put it there. Let me see here. Okay, so what we did in this little shape is I kept the whole French bob type of feeling. And everything was cut, graduated bob with a little bit longer in the front, so pretty traditional. What I decided to do was go in and create some asymmetry, just so it felt a little bit different, a little bit fresher. And so I came in, took diagonal back sections that connected the fringe area with the hair right behind the ear. So the line that I took was right in line with the line I wanted to create. Then I elevated the hair. Whenever you elevate, it's going to be softer. If I would have kept it low, it would have been a stronger line. Either one would be fine. I wanted softer. After that, went in and actually raised up my right-hand side because there was a little bit too much of a corner then. So I just adjusted it and created just kind of a, I don't know, a fun little shape. There we go. Maybe I'll do mine next. Okay, you guys, thanks for joining me live.